Welcome to Progress City, Florida. Founded in 1969, Progress City is one of the most influential urban experiments in modern history, a fully planned community built from scratch, designed to evolve continuously, and engineered to test how technology, infrastructure, and daily life could work better together. Today, more than 40 years later, Progress City is studied by urban planners around the world. And yes, Walt Disney built it. From day one, Progress City banned private cars from its streets. Residents move through the city on elevated people movers and monorails, while traffic, deliveries, and utilities run invisibly underground. There are no traffic jams, no parking garages, no honking, which already makes it more advanced than 90% of cities I have personally screamed in. At the city's core sits a massive climate-controlled downtown, 50 acres under glass, where businesses, apartments, and offices are constantly replaced with newer designs. Buildings are never considered permanent. The city is never finished. That was the rule. Progress City has no elected officials. There are no mayors, no city council, no local elections. The city is governed by a single corporate authority that controls zoning, infrastructure, housing, and employment. Residents do not own their homes. They rent them, and retirees are not permitted to live inside the city. The idea was simple. A constantly working population ensures constant innovation. No stagnation, no decay, no slums. It is efficient, it is clean, and depending on who you ask, it is either a miracle of urban planning or the most polite dystopia ever built. Over the decades, Progress City has quietly pioneered technologies that would later spread worldwide. Automated transit systems, centralized waste processing, energy-efficient buildings, early smart city monitoring long before the term existed. Urban planners point to Progress City as proof that large-scale design can reduce pollution, congestion, and energy use, if you are willing to trade something in return. Which, to be fair, is a trade most of us already make every time we agree to an app's terms of service, without reading them. So, here is the uncomfortable question. If a city works perfectly, but no one inside it truly controls it, is it still progress? Except, none of this ever happened. Progress City was never built. Walt Disney died in December of 1966 before construction could begin, and with him died the only man powerful enough to force this idea into existence. The executives who followed Walt looked at a city and saw risk, legal risk, financial risk, moral risk, a city without voters, without homeowners, without democracy, so they made a decision. They kept the land, they kept the government powers, and they used them to build something safer, a theme park. But the city Walt imagined never disappeared. It became a ghost, hidden in models, films, and one dark corner of Tomorrowland that most people ride past without ever noticing. And that is the real story of EPCOT. So what exactly was Walt planning? EPCOT was designed like a wheel, right at the hub, a giant climate-controlled downtown under glass, crowned with a 30-story hotel. Surrounding it, neighborhoods, schools, parks, industry, all perfectly ordered, no cars clogging the streets, nope, they went underground. On the surface, you'd ride on futuristic people movers and monorails, gliding smoothly above the chaos. Sounds dreamy, right? Hold on. Most people think they know Disney World. They see the castle, ride the coasters, meet the characters, but they're only seeing the surface. Hidden above Tomorrowland, there's a secret almost no one notices, a silent monument to a dream that nearly changed the world. This isn't about a hidden Mickey or a clever detail, it's about a lost city. A city Walt Disney himself imagined as his crowning achievement. Next time you're in Tomorrowland, look up. The people mover glides overhead, but inside one of its show buildings, something incredible is hiding. It's a massive, intricate model Progress City. Not a fantasy, but a blueprint for a real urban utopia. Millions pass beneath it, unaware. They hear the narration, see the scenes, but miss the ghost in the machine. Walt's last, most personal project. Progress City is more than a model. It's a physical artifact of a future that never was, a promise broken. Its story is one of ambition, loss, and corporate maneuvering, a vision set aside after Walt's death. The evidence is still there, spinning in the dark, a silent witness to a corporate coup that redefined Disney's future. What you see in Florida is not what Walt intended. He didn't want another theme park. He wanted something real. He wanted to solve the problems of the modern world, to build a living, breathing community where people could live, work, and play in a perfectly designed environment. The Secret City model isn't just a forgotten prop. It's the ghost of the entire Florida project. a haunting reminder of the grand experiment that was supposed to be Walt Disney's ultimate legacy. Most guests never notice it, but it's there, a silent question. What happened to Walt's last dream? The answer begins with a simple fact. Walt Disney World was never meant to be just a park. Walt's vision was bigger, bolder, and far more radical than anyone realized. The model above Tomorrowland is the last remnant of that vision. It's a city that never came to life, but its story still echoes through the park. If you know where to look, you can still see the outline of a dream that almost changed everything. The people mover glides past, and the city spins on, a secret hiding in plain sight. The next time you visit, look up. You might just catch a glimpse of the future that never was, and remember, sometimes the biggest secrets are right above your head. Here's where it gets a little creepy. In Walt's EPCOT, you wouldn't own your home. You rented from Disney. There'd be no retirees, everyone worked, no local elections, no mayors, no city council, translation, no democracy, no private property, everything controlled by one company, Disney. Is it a utopia of efficiency, or a company town in mouse ears? Walt called it progress, others, maybe a gilded cage. Still, Walt was determined. He secretly bought 27,000 acres of Florida swamp through fake companies. He even got his own government, Reedy Creek, so Disney could rule the land like its own little kingdom. He made a film pitching EPCOT to America. It was the last film he ever made. On December 15, 1966, Walt Disney passed away. And with him, EPCOT as a real city died too. The executives who took over? They looked at Walt's dream and saw one thing: financial suicide. A city with no landowners, no voters, and all the risk in the world? Nope, they shelved it. Instead, they gave us the Magic Kingdom. Safe, profitable, familiar. Walt Disney wasn't satisfied with Disneyland's success. He saw the world's problems, urban decay, traffic, chaos, and believed he could do better. The company rewrote its own history, trading on Walt's legacy while discarding his ideals. The magic remained, but the mission had changed forever. The model still sits above Tomorrowland, a relic of a future that never came. It's a challenge to look deeper, to question the stories we're told. Walt's dream was idealistic, maybe impossible, but it was born from a desire to solve real problems. The decision to abandon it says everything about the company's evolution. The parks are museums of ambition, filled with the ghosts of ideas both realized and abandoned. The next time you ride the People Mover, look for that miniature city. Don't see it as scenery, see it as a monument to a lost future. It's Walt Disney's unfinished symphony, and it asks a silent question: what happens to a dream deferred? Sometimes, it just keeps moving, waiting for someone to remember where it was supposed to go. So could EPCOT ever happen today? Well, pieces of it already have. Disney built Celebration Florida, a cute town but totally normal. And now tech billionaires are trying to build their own cities from scratch. The technology exists. But the idea of living in a city with no homeowners, no voters, no say in how things run? Yeah, people might call that a little too Big Brother. Still, Walt was ahead of his time. He saw cities as broken. He wanted to fix them. And even if his vision was flawed, it was bold, ambitious, scary, yes, but also inspiring. Walt called EPCOT a place that would never be completed. And in a way, he was right, because it was never even begun. The EPCOT we know today is fun. But the real EPCOT, the city, remains just an idea, a prototype for what tomorrow might look like. And maybe that's the lesson: to keep dreaming big, to imagine boldly, to never stop chasing a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. And hey, what do you think? Was Walt a visionary genius or a control freak in a mouse suit? Let me know in the comments. Today, we have the EPCOT Walt's successors gave us. And to be clear, it is a masterpiece of tourism. You can drink around the world, ride Guardians of the Galaxy, and end the night staring at fireworks engineered to make you feel something on schedule. It is safe, it is beautiful, and it works exactly as intended. But sometimes, when I am stuck in gridlock on I-4, surrounded by endless lanes, endless exits, and a city that just kind of happened instead of being planned, I think about the timeline we abandoned in 1966. Progress City asked for something radical. It demanded that people give up their vote, give up home ownership, give up permanence. In exchange, it promised a city without decay, a place that would never stop fixing itself. a future where progress was not an idea, it was policy. At the time, that sounded like tyranny. But looking at the world we actually built, the traffic, the sprawl, the systems we keep patching instead of redesigning, I cannot help but wonder if we misunderstood the offer, because maybe the tragedy of Progress City is not that it was too extreme, maybe it is that we were not brave enough to find out if it worked. And that leaves me with a question I genuinely do not know the answer to. If Progress City had been built, would you have lived there? Not in theory, not as a thought experiment. Would you have taken the deal? I'm Noah, this is Oddity Atlas, and somewhere beneath Florida, a city still sleeps. Keep exploring.